Well, hi there, food friends. Welcome to Cavalcade of Food. I'm Kevin.
Hi, Kevin. I'm Ralph behind the camera.
And I hear chestnuts roasting on an open fire in the background, and look what we got.
Yeah.
Chestnuts.
Those used to fall onto the sidewalks in the neighborhood I grew up in from the trees all around.
Did they really?
Yeah.
Well, these are chestnuts. These are Italian chestnuts from Italy, and the reason we're roasting them is because we are going to make a chestnut gravy for, actually we're having a party tomorrow.
For turkey dinner.
Yeah, exactly. And we thought it would be great to have a chestnut gravy to go with the turkey and the mashed potatoes. You've heard of chestnut stuffing. We're going to make a chestnut gravy.
And it's quite old-fashioned. I think what inspired it was I saw it on a television movie or an old movie that said something about having a chestnut gravy on chicken, and I thought, God, that must have been kind of common because they were acting like it was a common thing to have.
Well, you know, chestnuts, roasted chestnuts, definitely. This is an old food.
World.
Yes, very old world. And what you have to do, Ralph, is I've got the oven preheated to 400, and I'm cutting these little X's in the side of the chestnut with the paring knife. So see, we're just going to go here, and then we'll go here. Okay, so you get an X shape.
So how deep does the cut have to be?
Well, it doesn't have to. It just has to see the skin is pretty thin.
So break the skin, basically.
Exactly.
Okay.
And that will open up when it roasts because there's a lot of moisture inside these, and it will allow the steam to escape. So what we're going to do is we've got them all X'd out. We need about 1.5 cups of chestnuts for this recipe. This will give us more than that, and we'll just eat the rest. So I'm going to put it in this 400-degree oven here.
For how long?
Oh, about 30 minutes, half hour, 35 minutes, until they're nice and soft and tender. Okay? And then we'll come back and we'll peel the chestnuts and start getting our other ingredients together for our chestnut gravy. Okay, Ralph. So these were in for like 35 minutes at 400 degrees. I've let them cool off a little bit so that I could handle them. But basically, these are the chestnuts roasted. See what happens? Remember we cut the X's in the skin?
Right.
And look how the skin is just sort of peeled back and cracked.
So that makes it easy to get the skin off.
It does. See, it just peels right off like this. And I'm going to keep peeling. We would need 1.5 cups for our recipe.
Right.
But this is the best time too.
To sneak a little bite.
Yeah, they're so here. Try it. They're very meaty.
Oh yeah, I love chestnuts roasted.
Mm-hmm. Aren't they good?
When I was in Spain, they were selling them on the street.
Were they really? Yeah. Just delicious. So these are going to be great in our gravy. Give it a nice flavor. So I'm just going to keep peeling away here, and then in the meantime, actually, what I can do is come over here. I've got 3 tablespoons of butter in a large pot here.
Ooh, so the chestnuts are going to go in there?
Well, first what we have to do is saute our vegetables.
Oh, I see.
Okay? So I have got 2 carrots diced, 1 stalk of celery, and 1 medium onion.
Isn't that pretty? Look at those
colors. Isn't that pretty? So we're going to get all this in here, and we're going to saute this for about 5 minutes. Okay? Let me get everything coated in butter, and turn the heat up a little bit.
So that's kind of going to be the base for the chestnut gravy?
Yeah, let me put a little salt and pepper. This is right. This is sort of our foundation here, okay?
Okay.
So we've got 2 carrots, 1 stalk of celery, 1 medium onion diced. We're going to get that sauteed. In the meantime, while that's doing that, I'm trying to multitask here. I'm going to get these roasted chestnuts all shelled.
Let's tell folks what else is going to go in, though.
Well, this is chicken stock, okay?
You could use turkey.
You could use turkey stock if you have it. This is 6 cups Okay, then I've got 3/4 of a cup here of red wine that happens to be a Cabernet. So these are all ingredients. So we're going to kind of get everything nice and softened and cooked together here in the pot.
Right.
And then we're going to transfer to the blender to make it a nice
like a puree.
gravy. Yeah, exactly. Consistency.
So there's a lot of.
So there's a lot
steps.
going on
Okay.
here, but it's really not that simple. It's not that.
Isn't
It's
there
not
also
that hard.
Isn't there also some brandy involved?
Yes, there is, and you know what? I gotta find some. I have it in the house somewhere.
All right.
I probably tucked it away. Okay, Ralph, our veggies have been sauteing for about 7 minutes or so. Aren't they pretty?
Yeah, they smell good.
Now you see all that brown stuff at the bottom of the pan?
Yes.
That is the good flavor down there. We want that as part of the gravy. So we're going to do two things. One, I've got 1.25 cups of our chestnuts that we roasted and peeled, okay? I'm holding some out because we're going to chop them up later and add them in.
Okay.
Okay? But for this part, there's 1.25 cups, so we're going to put those in and just let those kind of,
Soak up the flavors?
yeah, kind of blend and play with the vegetables. And we'll let that in for a couple of minutes, okay? Then, here's our reserve chestnuts. And what we'll do is we'll chop those up.
If they don't get eaten up.
They'll- If they last that long, we're going to chop those up and then put them back in at the very end, okay?
Sounds good.
All right, so here we go.
Those are getting coated with the butter and the flavors
Right.
of the veggies and the salt and pepper.
So now what we're going to do is we're going to deglaze the pan. That is to get all that good brown stuff at the bottom off, okay? And to deglaze, we're going to use a couple tablespoons of brandy, okay? I'm just going to eyeball this. 1. I say let's call that 2.
So like a couple of shots.
And then we've got 3/4 cup of red wine. Okay.
Oh, it smells good. I mean,
Doesn't it?
I can smell the brandy.
Yeah, because it burns the alcohol off right away. But what you want to do now is sort of work the spoon. I'm actually going to get even a spatula
Against the bottom of the pan to get up the,
you want to
the crusted
release
brown
exactly
flavors. Okay.
because that's really deep stuff.
That's called deglazing.
Okay, so we'll be right back. We're gonna finish this up. Then we got to put in our chicken stock and let things simmer off for a little bit. Okay, so I'm just gonna finish deglazing the pan here,
Sure smells good.
and we'll be right
It's a
back.
unique chestnutty flavor.
All right, pan is deglazed. See, look how rich and brown that wine and brandy kind of is at the bottom of the pan.
Right.
And it's simmering away. Now what we're going to do, Ralph, is we're going to add our 6 cups of chicken stock. Okay. And then what I want to do is bring this up to a simmer. And then we're going to let this simmer for a half an hour.
Oh, okay.
Okay. And that'll further soften the vegetables
And
the chestnuts, and then it'll develop the flavor a little bit. So we'll bring it up, let it simmer off for a half an hour, and then we'll come on back.
Okay, so it had been at a medium or lower
Yeah,
heat. Okay.
low heat. So I'm going to bring it up, and so that it will start simmering. We're going to let it simmer for a half hour.
Okay.
So check this out, Ralph.
Wow.
Okay. So that's been added now for half an hour, just simmering away. Can you smell?
Yes.
So the vegetables are very tender, as are the chestnuts. Before we go any further, I'm going to do just a quick little test for seasoning here. Good. I'm going to put a little pinch of pepper in it. Okay.
Otherwise, it's coming together
Yep.
with the flavors.
Very good. Now, what we're going to do to turn this into gravy, and of course it's thin because the liquid in here is just the wine and the stock, but once we grind up and puree all those vegetables,
It'll thicken it up.
right. Now, for this we're going to use calling our friend the blender. And if you remember, Ralph, when you blend things that are hot like this,
You do it little bits at a time.
you do it in little stages, exactly. Because the steam inside, you shouldn't fill it more than about a third of the way, because the steam inside is going to kind of go up, and you don't want to blow the lid off. As a matter of fact, a good insurance policy is to get a towel. Okay?
And a raincoat.
All right, puree. Here we go. Now, I would suggest that people have blenders. If you don't have a blender, you should. It's really one of those essential pieces of kitchen equipment.
Right.
You know? Oh, look. See how nice that is?
Mm-hmm.
We're going to transfer it to this bowl.
Wow, it's so creamy now.
Isn't that beautiful? So I'm going to keep on pureeing, and then we'll come back and add. I held out 4 or 5 chestnuts that I just rough chopped.
Just to keep a nice texture for
Exactly,
later.
and we'll add that to the pureed part of the gravy when we're all done. Okay, so we're going to do this in stages until we get all of it pureed.
Sounds good. Wow, that looks very good.
Isn't that nice? I'm going to take these chestnuts here, and we'll just...
Oh, so you just added those directly. I thought you were going to blend them in.
No. That way, you'll get little chunks of chestnuts.
Right, the texture of that over the chicken
it's
or
still-
turkey, whatever you're going to serve it with.
Exactly. So it's still very hot, but there it is. And
Almost like a soup or a broth.
Yeah.
Not a broth, I don't know, it's like a gravy that's...
if you wanted a little thicker, you could make a slurry. As it's getting cool, it's getting
it's gonna
more
thicken.
thick. But
Good flavor.
wow, yeah. You know, you do get the chestnut flavor, and you know that wine flavor is very subtle in the background. Makes a lot of gravy. You could certainly make half of a recipe. We'll probably even freeze some of this.
Oh, right.
And have it for another time. But
So it's going to thicken up as it cools, and then it's enough that you could save some for future holiday parties.
right. So
Maybe-
there it is.
Maybe New Year's Eve or
A
something.
big old bowl of chestnut gravy. And then like a lot of other gravies that are kind of fat and flour,
Right.
there's no flour in this.
Right.
And there's very little fat, actually.
Very little butter, so it's
other than there was a little fat in the chicken stock and the butter that we sauteed the vegetables in.
but compared to how much you're getting out of there, there's
Right.
mostly a lot of vegetables and chestnuts and
So, anyways, there it is. Chestnut gravy. We had a great time putting this together. Hope you had a good time being with us. And you know what? We'll look forward to seeing you again here on Cavalcade of Food.
see you next time.
Bye.
Bye-bye.